TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes his two-day state visit to Israel. U.S. and Iranian representatives hold high-stake negotiations in Geneva, Switzerland. The USS Gerald R carrier strike group is scheduled to make a port call in Israel's northern city of Haifa tomorrow evening. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded a two-day state visit to Israel today, a visit that included a clear upgrade to the strategic alliance between New Delhi and Jerusalem, marked by dozens of new bilateral agreements in the sectors of defense, security, banking, agriculture, culture, AI, and much more.
This is an amazing visit, an amazing conclusion to an amazing visit. It was short, but extraordinarily productive and also extraordinarily moving.
Prime Minister Modi's visit after arrival at Ben Gurion International Airport yesterday included constructive meetings with all of Israel's top political and security brass and tree planting ceremony at the residence of President Isaac Herzog in Jerusalem and a visit to the Holocaust Museum at Yad Vashem. Moreover, as befits honoring Israel's closest allies, Prime Minister Modi addressed Israel's parliament, or Knesset in Hebrew, yesterday, during the course of which he relayed a message of further deepening the strategic bond between New Delhi and Jerusalem, a shared sentiment by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
It is a privilege and an honor for me to stand before this distinguished House. I do so as the Prime Minister of India and also as a representative of one ancient civilization addressing another. I bring with me the greetings of 1.4 billion Indians and a message of friendship, respect, and partnership.
We are now deepening our deep bond, את הברית החזקה האסטרטגית הגלויה שיצרנו. יצרנו ברית גלויה. ולא פחות מזה, שתי המדינות שלנו נמצאות בשיא כוחן. ישראל חזקה מאי פעם, והודו חזקה מאי פעם.
I also carry with me the deepest condolences of the people of India for every life lost and for every family whose world was shattered in the barbaric terrorist attack by Hamas on October 7. We feel your pain. We share your grief. India stands with Israel firmly, with full conviction in this moment and beyond. No cause can justify the murder of civilians. Nothing can justify terrorism. India has also endured the pain of terrorism for a long time. We remember the 26/11 Mumbai attacks and the innocent lives lost, including Israeli citizens. Like you, we have consistent and uncompromising policy of zero tolerance for terrorism with no double standards. Terrorism aims to destabilize societies, to block development, and to erode trust. Countering terrorism requires sustained and coordinated global action because terror anywhere threatens peace everywhere. That is why India supports all efforts that contribute to durable peace and regional stability.
Turning to Switzerland, war negotiations between representatives of the United States and Iran held meetings under Omani auspices in Geneva earlier today in what was described by a senior U.S. official to TV7, likely a final diplomatic push that will tilt the scales one way or another. And while Iranian officials have launched a blitz of public statements in a desperate attempt to infuse some type of optimism into public discourse in Washington, officials speaking to TV7 have not indicated such sentiments. Rather, to the contrary. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio spoke last night about today's anticipated talks, clearly indicating no confidence in a negotiated outcome.
I don't think diplomacy is ever off the table. The president wants diplomatic solutions. He prefers them. He prefers them greatly. He wants that more than anything else. So I wouldn't characterize tomorrow as anything other than the latest in a set of conversations, and hopefully they're productive. But eventually, we'll have to have conversations about more than just the nuclear program. But if you can't even make progress on the nuclear program, it's going to be hard to make progress on the ballistic missiles as well. So I wouldn't characterize tomorrow as anything other than the next opportunity to talk.
Secretary Rubio continued by highlighting that while the United States essentially tries to evaluate whether there could be any diplomatic breakthrough, the Ayatollah regime poses a real and dangerous threat to the United States in particular and the world at large, as the #1 state sponsor of global terror is trying to rehabilitate its nuclear program.
After their nuclear program was obliterated, they were told not to try to restart it, and here they are. You can see them always trying to rebuild elements of it. They're not enriching right now, but they're trying to get to the point where they ultimately can. The other thing I would point you to, however, is that Iran possesses a very large number of ballistic missiles, particularly short-range ballistic missiles that threaten the United States and our bases in the region and our partners in the region. And all of our bases in the UAE, in Qatar, in Bahrain. And they also possess naval assets that threaten shipping and try to threaten the U.S. Navy. So I want everybody to understand that beyond just the nuclear program, they possess these conventional weapons that are solely designed to attack America and attack Americans if they so choose to do so. These things have to be addressed. Negotiations will be largely focused on the nuclear program, and we hope progress can be made, because that's the president's preference, to make progress on the diplomatic front. But it's also important to remember that Iran refuses to talk about the ballistic missiles, to us or to anyone, and that's a big problem.
Meanwhile, in Geneva, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghei claimed that the Ayatollah regime's delegation has come to the negotiations fully prepared.
Our delegation has come fully prepared, as in the past. We have shown our commitment throughout this process. Now, the relevant experts are with us, both in the field of lifting sanctions and economic issues, and in relation to nuclear and legal issues. We are ready to continue these talks as long as necessary. The subject of the negotiations, as has been said many times, is focused on the nuclear issue. Our positions are clear, both in the field of lifting sanctions and in relation to Iran's nuclear rights and interests, the peaceful use of nuclear energy. We have presented our views very clearly to the Omani side, mainly under these two main headings.
It is important to know that while talks were underway between the American and Iranian delegations earlier today, the USS Gerald R forward carrier strike group departed from the port of Crete towards Israel's port of Haifa, where it is scheduled to arrive latest tomorrow evening. Separately, dozens of additional U.S. Air Force cargo aircraft have made their way towards the Middle East in the last 48 hours alone, as the stream of American military assets and munitions continue to flood the region ahead of President Donald Trump's final verdict vis-à-vis a military operation against the Ayatollah regime in Iran. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. Please keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.